The Trump administration says Harvard University is no longer allowed to enroll foreign students. It comes as the school's officials refuse to give in to the administration's policy demands. As CNN's Jeff Zeleny reports, this move could impact more than a quarter of Harvard's student body.
The Trump administration is dramatically escalating its fight with Harvard University, saying on Thursday that all international students will be banned from continuing their education at Harvard, saying all students must change their enrollment to another university or lose their legal status to be in the United States. Now, the backstory to all of this comes as the fight with Harvard began earlier this year. Initially, the administration blocking some $2 billion or so in funding, federal funding to Harvard programs. This comes as the administration is trying to get Harvard to change its curriculum. They say that the university has been dominated by DEI programs, anti-Semitic protests, and the like. The White House in a statement saying this: Harvard has turned their once great institution into a hotbed of anti-American, anti-Semitic, pro-terrorist agitators. The White House says enrolling foreign students is a privilege, not a right. Harvard University, of course, pushing back strongly on this, saying the government's action is unlawful. Harvard says the retaliatory action threatens serious harm to the Harvard community, our country, and undermines Harvard's academic and research mission. So the bottom line to this is this will certainly end up in a legal proceeding. Add it to the list of administration proposals that have been challenged by court. But this is a lot of students we are talking about here. Some 27% of Harvard's entire student body, about 6,700 students, would fall under this. So, of course, this has a big fallout for those students already here in the U.S. as the school semester nears an end. Jeff Zeleny, CNN, the White House.
And joining us now is Harvard President Emeritus Larry Summers. He was also, of course, Treasury Secretary in the Clinton administration. Mr. Secretary, it is great to have you here. Grateful for your time. After this news came out on Thursday, you wrote on X that the Trump administration's vendetta action against Harvard is now over the top and that it's crazy to make enemies of thousands of the most talented young people from around the world. You're saying that there needs to be due process here, but what recourse does Harvard have at the moment?
We've got three branches of government in the United States, and they're independent and co-equal. The executive, that's the president; the legislative, that's the Congress; and the judicial. I cannot imagine that singling out one university as opposed to all other universities for sanction of this kind and attacking that university without due process, without an indication of what specifically the problem is, with a set of punishments and sanctions that are mostly going to fall on people whose fault this surely isn't. People who dreamed of coming to the United States to study, to absorb American traditions, to advance science, and now are having their lives wrecked, their whole plans being taken asunder. I can't believe that that is legal. And I would hope that the university will take legal action and that there'll be some kind of judicial action that sets this wrong right.
Well, let's talk about those people that you are referring to. You know, few people know Harvard better than you do. I want you to tell us about the international student body on campus and how they fit into the community. And is it even possible for you to imagine a Harvard University without its international students?
I can't. Harvard hasn't been that way for literally hundreds of years. I know this: the United States won World War II in no small part because of what foreign scholars at American universities did. The Manhattan Project, radar, so many other fundamental innovations. I know this: we wouldn't have met the pandemic in the way we did without all kinds of people from abroad who came to American universities and helped discover the vaccines. I know this: we wouldn't have the kind of prosperity that we have without people who were drawn to the United States by the opportunity to study at great universities like Harvard, and went on to found great companies, to get patents that were the basis for pervasive innovation.
So, Secretary Summers, the school is in the position that it is in now because it has really stood up to the Trump administration in ways that, many other elite institutions haven't. Have you agreed with the way that the school has been handling its clash with the administration?
Look, I believe there's a lot that needs to change at Harvard. There are issues about identity politics. There are issues about anti-Semitism. There are issues about not enough spectrum of views. But I believe the right course for Harvard is resist and reform. Yes, reform. But, we now have a government that is trying to bring law firms that represent certain defendants it doesn't like to their knees, that is sending people out of the country, even American citizens, without any due process protections, that court after court after court has found to be in violation of the law regarding federal spending powers by cutting off what Congress has ordered. This is the beginnings. It's not all the way there. It's all wrong to compare this to Hitler and say some of the overheated things that people say. But these are steps away from democracy and towards tyranny. And if an institution with all Harvard's resources, an endowment of more than $50 billion, all its prestige, its incredible network of alumni, presidents, Nobel Prize winners, chief executive officers, great artists. If Harvard can't resist these steps towards tyranny, who can? So I salute our current president, Alan Garber, for his courage and steadfastness. And I believe we are doing what is right, what is necessary, and is just immensely important to the American future.
Larry Summers, thank you so much for sharing your very unique perspective on this story with us.
Thank you.